Toxic, aka Annika, and welcome to my channel. And today we are finally cracking on with the next part of my completed pages and WIP-s videos. It's a series, obviously, and I was a bit procrastinating on this series because I couldn't kind of figure out. I did Amazon books first, and then I couldn't figure out how to sort or organize the books I'm going to show. Then eventually I just decided, okay, I'm going to do it pretty much by shape and size. So today, and possibly in the next part, I'll see how long this video is going to be. We're going to talk about kind of like rectangular books that are kind of soft cover and are in kind of like this A4-ish format. Some of them are, you know, not exactly A4, but kind of like magazine or A4 format. The first one we're looking at happens to be a Coloring Heaven magazine. I don't have too many of them left. I gave most of them away because I really don't enjoy the paper, but they do have some really cool issues that I can't, you know, I really would like to color in them more if I could get around this paper a bit better. But, you know, I'm trying to figure out the ways to deal with the quality, especially after they made kind of move to cheaper and thinner paper. I think it's kind of perfectly awful. The only way I now get their books is that, or magazines, is I pretty much get them it's digital, you know. If they offer them in digital format, I buy them in digital format. Okay, this one happens to be one of my favorite issues at their all time. It's by Hollow Moon Art. I think her actual name is Nelleke Schumacher or something like this. And I genuinely like her art and this issue of Vikings, although, you know, it kind of poetizes and, you know, uses some stereotypes that aren't exactly correct, you know, like dreadlocks in Vikings and such things. I like the art a lot, and I've, you know, I have loads of kind of that sort of a WIP-s here where I've put the skin tone down since I had the marker out. Here I have acrylic wash in the background. I'll show you what I'm planning to do or what I wanted to do or which one. But I accidentally also painted over this axe, which I didn't mean to do. So now I'm kind of painting myself in the corner here, because I don't really want the axe to be based in black. So maybe I'll have to kind of put another wash on top of it to be able to actually, you know, get it to the correct color. But I like that image a lot. Yeah, this one has a lot of, like, I would actually have to kind of go through it more thorough because it has a lot of, you know, those moments that I put. This one is one of my finished ones here. There's pretty sure I put satin glaze on this one. Now you can see, no, actually I just used plain watercolor because I've done the skin of the girl here with alcohol markers. You can see the blends through the paper, and possibly based the clothes in water-based markers, and then the rest of it is watercolors, then some acrylic paint got it as well, or possibly gouache. It looks like this in the sky here. And then the grass is done flicking it up with acrylic paint. Acrylic paint or gouache, I'm not even 100% sure. But I actually, you know, at the time I was very happy with it. Now I can see it's one of my kind of first works when I started coloring again. And I can see now, you know, how I could have done it better, but, you know, it doesn't really matter at this stage, does it? So what else do I have here? I can see something down here. Oh, it's a skin tone. I put a lot of kind of, I had marker in my hand at some stage, or marker set, and I kept just sticking skin tones down. This one I did last year for diverse or couples challenge, and it's done with alcohol markers, with pretty sure Prismacolor pencils on top. The background is alcohol markers, and here I did, you know, it's kind of a dark nighttime, but you know, if you're close enough, you can see I kind of put the silhouettes of the trees in the back, which don't really show up very much in the photos. I'm not very happy how I handled the frame here, mainly because I kind of didn't really enjoy doing the frame, so I kind of, you know, tossed something down there. But the girls came out all right. I like her, and this is the background I want to do for that guy here as well. So basically I put wash down like this, diluted black paint, acrylic paint, matte. And then I went up on Prismacolors, but I went down, most of them were kind of like earthy pastel colors, and then black. And I kind of created this stone puzzle or stone knotting, carving looking background, and I think it looks super cool, and I was very happy with it, still am. It's a bit of a work, but you know, the result is so interesting. And herself is, I think, face is based with alcohol markers and shaded with, I think, either Black Widows or Polychromos, and the rest of her is based with water-based markers on the dress, and that fur is based with alcohol markers as well. And I don't think there's much pencil in that fur at all, just a little bit of gel pen. Okay, so this one is going to be one of my videos I'm making at the moment, how to do kind of wet full paper washes in books like this, so the paper wouldn't buckle much. You can see, you know, there's a little bit of buckling, but minimum, and this page was swimming with water. So, you know, how to do them, how to put kind of base color down in these books. I'm kind of trying to, for myself, also find ways, and I filmed that. And I'm going to talk about, you know, big wet washes in the books in that video, but it's in the making. And this one, just, you know, a lot of skin tones all over the place. Like this magazine has relatively, you know, quite a bit of different, like I based it with satin glaze, and then I tried to do her face with water-based markers, and I'm not happy how it came out, but I'm going to go on top the pencils and see if I can work it like this. And it might be a throwaway, but it might be that I do the whole page with water-based markers and then pencils on top. So that's about that. My next book is, this is Karolina Kopikowska's Magic Hour. Love every single book she has ever published. This is one of her kind of like older books, and back then they still came on really kind of thick paper and ring bound. And ring binding, actually I thought I would enjoy it more than I do. The book is beautiful, of course, every single artwork. And although it, you know, it's thick enough that it feels that it's great for watercolors, it's good, but you know, I actually like the bound newer books better, how the watercolor behaves there. But just gorgeous artwork. This is just the base, you know, wet base, like I like making them. I just wash everything with water and put kind of color marks down for myself. So when I go coloring, I have established the areas of the color here, and everything is going to be very cohesive. And, you know, the glow of the eyes, slight halos of the color, which look really cool in this sort of a, you know, hazy, magical picture environment. So I like that one. I have at least one totally completed work here. I think I've, you know, put watercolor on a couple of pages, but this one is the finished one, and it's done. I don't think there's any other finished ones here. And it's done with watercolors, like big wet wash of watercolors, and then pencils on top. And then there's, I think this is gouache or acrylic paint. Those white trails of the butterflies, and everything is kind of, the details are added with this kind of a metallic watercolors, I think Coliro. And on the little dinosaurs I've used Sakura glaze pens. Yeah, and here on the centers of the flowers, those are acrylic brush markers to get that fluffy center really easily. Why not use everything you have in your stash? So yeah, I really like that book, and you know, I should take it out a bit more because the pages actually come here very easily for me because of the watercolor base. This one is a fairly new book. I saw it on first on Maya's channel, Colored by Maya, and then a couple of other people got it. And I just love the artwork so much. This kind of slightly naivistic, folk arty style that, you know, I just like. And the paper, you know, they said it was good, and it's genuinely good. It takes watercolor brilliantly, water media. You can actually move it around on the paper. And I like even these, quite a few people have said that they don't like the sample pictures next to the page you color because you kind of feel like it's pushing you towards a color scheme, which I don't consider to be a bad thing. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you want your brain just to relax, and you know, having something next to it, taking it like this and, you know, putting it to other page can be really relaxing. But here I didn't really take the color scheme all right. I can see, you know, myself, it didn't really bother me that it was here. You know, some elements maybe, but no, not really. It's a WIP, but you know, since I got the book fairly recently, you know, hopefully I'll finish it soon. It's not a forgotten WIP or anything. It's something I'm working on at the moment. I have always several things in the work at the same time, so it's all pure watercolor at the moment. Don't remember which one. It might have been White Knight's watercolor, or possibly Roman Schmal. Roman Schmal, yeah, because that color lavanda is in Roman Schmal range, pretty sure. It's yeah, I'm not going to do it super shaded or anything. It's kind of a, you know, the style of it doesn't really lend it, you know, kind of put down bold color type of a thing. And occasionally, very occasionally, I enjoy a bit of color by numbers. I don't do it too often, but I have some books for the occasions that I feel like it. This being one of these books, and you can see inside there like this very, you know, there's a couple of pages, but I do enjoy doing them. Here I did that, and then I put something wet onto it, and it was just felt tip pens, you can see. And I haven't really done much with felt tip pens because I do not enjoy the finish of felt tip pens in these, and it goes through anyway, which is even more annoying. Like, you know, it's supposed to be felt tip pens because it doesn't go through. Yes, they do, at least when I do it. This one is gouache, and I like this finish now way more. You know, the opaqueness and flatness of it really suits, I think, these images. Do I have anything else here? Oh, these ones are also done before the gouache bit. They're both felt tip pens, and not great. Like, I just don't like, especially with the big areas. And I don't have the patience of waiting until it dries and then go over it one more time. It's just too much effort or too much time for me to put into color by numbers image. So if I do them now, I do them either with, you know, if I would do them now, I would either do them with alcohol, not alcohol, acrylic markers. I think this one is done with acrylic markers, which also, you know, gives somewhat streaky finish, but it's still way better. You know, a little bit of a streak, I don't mind, but you know, kind of the way that the numbers aren't visible. I like that one. Is there any more here? Oh yeah, the fox. I found a fox. I have weakness for foxes, so if there's fox to be found in a book, I often will go and color it. So this one is done with gouache, just pure gouache. But I think a little bit of some sort of a pen there as well, because part of it is done with gold. Yeah, it looks, I've added here some sparkles because I've smeared something here, the paint obviously, and instead of trying to paint over, I've just put some sparkles onto it and gone, yep, that's how you disguise boo-boos of the pages. Put some white sparkles in it. Here is another one, which I still actually like, and I think it's one of the, like from the color by number books, I think it's one of the coolest. You could see the images here, they're kind of very graphic, very kind of big, bold areas. If the theme wasn't so samey, I would color them more. The problem is that pretty much all of them are, you know, some sort of a wine in some sort of an environment. There's only so many times I want to color a wine bottle, and you know. But I enjoy the way it's kind of built up. Like this one I did first, and I used the regular like Dooley art pens, which was a mistake because, you know, big areas like that, not good doing with them. You can see how streaky it is, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience because they scratch the paper, you know, when you use them like this in a big area. They get really annoyed with you, and so does the paper. But you know, bottle of wine, I like kind of this one, so I did this one with the lantern and the teapot and the teacups. I thought it was lovely, and that's done with gouache. And then afterwards it's like it's all vases and, you know, kind of glasses of wine, you know, some sort of a drink. And I get it that it's the kind of a theme of the book, but theme of the book is supposed to be still life, and there's like wine bottle, wine bottle, wine bottle, wine bottle, wine glass, wine glass. It's like, no. I've had quite enough of wine bottles. But maybe I should go towards the end of the book and pick out something else. There's some, you know, other types of compositions there, maybe, you know, I would get into it. This book is absolutely lovely. It's not exactly A4, it's kind of between a square and rectangle type of a, but you know, I didn't know where else to put it, so here it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. It's a Korean book, and this one originally is from Book Depository when they still, I got it at the end. Well, I started coloring when they pretty much, you know, were about to close soon, and I got that before they closed. Beautiful paper, beautiful artwork. It's Korean mythology and legends, and I'm pretty sure I have 2 pages here. Oh yeah, one is this one. I think it's Winsor and Newton pencils on her face, and then the rest of it is hair is mostly done with watercolor, and I think a little bit pencil added, but the rest of it is mostly watercolor. And you know, there's like tiny bits of pencil added here and there, but yeah, it's mostly watercolor. And the other one is this one, which I think is their kind of a story about death of winter and beginning of spring, kind of general winter gets killed. I'm not sure, because I tried to translate that text here, and every time I got slightly different result, and it was more confusing every time. So I don't really know the story, but I kind of tried to, you know, kind of somewhat repeat or kind of do it similar to what the next picture is. And I even tried to do the transparent flowers on the layers of the skirt, the textures of the chainmail. I think it came out all right. I like that one. And I also like how, you know, watercolor behaves in this book. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. If you're, you know, if you're into that sort of a themes in any way, and if you enjoy coloring in books that take watercolor well and so on, I would definitely recommend that to you. And this one now is really interesting. It's the same author, whose name I don't remember. I haven't even written it down here, but it's called Storytellers album, 12 Korean style fairy tales. But what they've actually have done is they have taken Western fairy tales and drawn them in Korean style. So it's all about recognizing what fairy tale it is. This one is Red Riding Hood, I think. See, the wolf meeting Red Riding Hood in the woods. I actually would love to do it now because like I have to mark it because I want to do it. This is so cool. Like, I love it. So I'm sorry for interrupting the services here, but I really have to mark it. And this is Granny's house. Like, you know, I think this might be Rumpelstiltskin. I think this is the Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, here he kisses her awake. Creepy. Well, I love fairy tales, but you gotta admit there's a lot of stuff wrong in them. Yeah, this is Peter Pan, obviously. I think this is the Snow Queen. It's a beautiful, the idea is beautiful. The art is fantastic. The paper is fantastic. It's like, what's there not to love? And I have made only one page here, but I will definitely now, I kind of have forgotten it slightly, but I will definitely take it into work more again. And this is from The Little Mermaid. And I have tried to kind of play here with textures, like different stencils. There's texture with a stencil. I put, before pencil shading, I put some texture into the scales of her tail and some texture into her tail. And there's, you know, kind of patterns in the background, kind of like looking slightly like water bubbles, variations of the color in the water, kind of like, I thought, you know, kind of sandy color, watery color, you know, some splatter. That's also a stencil. That's kind of a splatter stencil here to represent the ground and the sand. I really enjoyed doing that page. I don't remember what pencils they are, but I suspect they might be possibly Pablo's. I think they're Pablo's. Am I looking at the colors here? They say Pablo's to me. But yeah, I absolutely adore this book, and I should definitely, I actually will kind of possibly put it aside for myself, because fairy tales are one of the themes for me this year in mythology. It's pretty much a theme for me every year, because that's the type of line art I enjoy coloring the most. But this year particularly, I'm trying to kind of go. This one, I think I've said before that it might have been, I'm not 100% sure of that book. I got it because I saw it in so many people's channels. And I finally got it. My relatives bought it for me from States. Here, it's absolutely impossible to find. And then I just can't find my sea legs here. I can't get it, or like I have to work on it. I have to figure out how do I color it so I actually like it, because I did this page with all sorts of different, like this watercolor here. I was testing essentially, you know, what media will work, and most of the things, as you can see, anything, you know, more or less water-based will go through. And I was kind of trying to figure out what to do here and how to work here, and so far, like, it's all right, but I would kind of need to try another image or two, maybe pick better, something closer to my heart, or something that appeals to me a lot as a line art, and maybe go and, you know, work on, like, just random, not random colors, but actually pick a color palette. Here is astrology coloring, and this it's one of the forgotten books, kind of. I had trouble at first when I got this book imagining how to color it, how it would look colored. In my head it didn't click, and therefore it was kind of sitting on my shelf for a while. And now that I've picked it up again and started looking at it, now I actually see it. So I've started a page here, but never went anywhere because I wasn't really sure how I would do it. But the art is fantastic, and I will definitely work in it, because I now get Anna Yaren's work better. I have colored some of her images, and I'm getting along with her art better. But this one is done, the base is done with real brush pens, and this I think is just a couple of regular, or I think it might be even just one water-based marker washed out with water. So you can do that in that book, but you need to be careful and work it. Another Anna Yarn book where I finally kind of found myself for how I'm going to do her art is this one, and it's one of my favorite books that I bought last year. Really like it. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic line art. And I have done here 2 pages. Is it 2? Yeah, pretty sure it's 2. So this one is Onya, goddess of summer and love and wealth and abundance in Celtic mythology. And I'm not saying that I'm 100% happy with this page. A couple of elements here. This one I went overboard with the fluff. I wanted to make those fluffy because those flowers are actually fluffy in real life. They're called meadowsweets. They're kind of like fluffy heads on them, but I went a bit overboard, so it looks a bit like it's not part of this page. Like have the life of their own here. But yeah, Onya and the horse, came out all right in the background, the rocks and everything. So that was fine. And another page I did here was Saraswati, knowledge, art and music in Hindu mythology. A lot of shiny stuff. The frame is, there's quite a lot of frames in this book, and I usually don't like or don't enjoy doing the frames, and my approach tends to be put something dark underneath and make it shiny, and make some parts of it and a big minimal shading in a similar color scheme. And it came out alright. Like it looks more like I put more work into it than I actually did, although since it's so small and fiddly, although there's not a huge amount of work here, it still took a fair bit of time to color the frame. But yeah, I think this one was mostly done with like alcohol markers, pencils on top. Do not remember what pencils. I think there was a variety of them, and then I put black acrylic marker on the edges to kind of give it a good contrast and lift it off the page. And I think the next one I planned to do was Oshun. She is from Western Africa, and she's a water deity, and she's supposed to be all golden. I think she might have been called Golden Lady. Let me see here. Well, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, she's supposed to have this big golden dress and everything, she's wearing, supposed to be golden. So I thought that might look cool. So I did this purple night sky, thinking yellow and gold and purple, that would look good. So I think that might be my next one, but then again I might change my mind and go for something else. This one doesn't, to my everlasting shame, have a finished work. It has fantastic paper. It's Ravin Phelan's Dragons and Dragonkin. Beautiful book. Love the line art. I have this one, which I showed, when I was showing how to do water-based marker and, kind of sponged backgrounds. I did that one. My plan was to do her in kind of like Celtic style, Celtic colors a bit. And there's this one that I did the background. Caduceus. I don't know how to pronounce that, but you know, she looks cool, and you know, she needs a base, and then I can decide, you know, what colors I'm going to exactly use. I haven't even decided that. But she's gonna, and you know, there's this bit I've been testing in a different media, and this book pretty much takes anything. It takes water, it takes pretty much any pencils, it takes watercolor, water-based markers, alcohol markers, no problem. This is one of my very, very few Creative Haven issues, and the only one I've actually colored in, and that's because I really like the line art here that Aaron Pocock, I don't know exactly, sorry if I'm now mispronouncing his name. Love the line art. I don't really like what he has done with the line art, but I do like the line art a lot. You know, all the kind of winged fantasy creatures. I think the concept is cool to start with. And oh, this is a page I've based with satin glazing, because I don't really like the paper much. You know, one of the issues here is that I can't get it cooperate with me, so I put satin glaze to try it out. And Angel is actually very pretty. Might actually work for Christmas time or something. Okay, I've tested if I can get water-based markers, just, you know, blend on the paper here without any added water. And kinda, but not really. It's a bit too fragile. I put some skin tone onto her, and this is my only work here that I've actually finished, and it's, from what I remember, very little water-based marker. I think very faint base on the leaves, and there might have been very light water-based marker on the branches, but everything else is done with yeah, actually there is water-based marker on the dragons as well, but you know, just kind of a like pale base. And then on top of it I worked with Artex pencils, and I think they did a really good showing here. Like, they are covering really well and give beautiful, interesting blends from these, you know, dark purples to, you know, deep reds to yellows. I think those pencils are fantastic. Marabou. If I can get their version of the book, I won't buy the English version, because the paper is just so much better. It's fantastic paper, and it's thick and white and beautiful, and water works on it beautifully. And I like to be, I don't use water for every page, but I like to have that option if I in any way can. I've been testing here, you know, just, you know, blending out water-based markers with water, or just putting, you know, down water-based markers, you know, how they behave, if they go through at all. And as you can see, they don't. I've been, you know, doing blending here for these leaves, water-based markers, just putting water-based marker down and then diluting it with water. And you can see, you know, if you do that, you get, you know, things will go eventually through. They publish Kirby, Melpomene books, I think Millie Marotta as well, although I've heard that Millie Marotta paper of theirs isn't as good as some, you know, other papers. Anyways, it is a lovely, lovely book, and I want to do a lot in here. And I want to do it all with water-based something. I think the only one I've so far done is this one, and I just love it. There's a lot of it, it's mostly kind of based on, and you know, a lot of blending is done with water-based markers. The sky is done, it's a pure pencil work here. the way I've done this, the sun and sky, that's only pencils. Pretty sure, or am I lying to you? Yeah, it's only pencils. And then everywhere else I have some water-based markers down, and then I put pencils on top. And I can't even tell what pencils they are. They might be Artex pencils. Okay, this is it for today, because there's still a fair bit more to go, and it's already 35 minutes. So see you in the next part. If you like my videos, like and subscribe. Have a lovely evening, morning, day, whatever time it is in the whatever part of the world you live in. And bye-bye.